Welcome to the show, author Rosalyn F. Morgan. How you doing?
I'm doing just great. How are you today?
I am good. I'm good. That was
Good.
a very powerful trailer, and
Thank you.
absolutely, and something that I think that touches most families um, in one way or another. How did you come about tackling this issue?
Well, it really much started early in the late 1990s, around 1999. We realized my mother, there was something wrong with her.
Mhm.
And my brother and I just quite could not understand what was going on. She lived in South Carolina, Darling, South Carolina, and I was here in Maryland. And constantly talking to her and then visiting her, constantly repeating herself, just doing strange things. She was a very organized woman, pretty much got it together. You can call on her, she's right on it. We were finding stuff not being paid, bills weren't being paid. She was normally a very well put together, clothes were a hot mess, house was a mess. So we just knew something was going on. We just not realize what it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
didn't find out what was wrong with her until I actually moved her to Maryland in 2000.
and so you became the caregiver.
I was the primary caregiver. My brother was my support system as well as my children.
Yeah,
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 caregiving is rough, and she
yeah.
took us through a lot, definitely. Her behavior changed. She was the sweetest person you could have ever imagined. God fearing, church going, happy go lucky. Alzheimer's turned her into a drama queen. When I say that, I never cursing, never heard her curse in my life.
Until then.
Fighting, fighting. I didn't know she knew how to throw a punch. So like, wow. So I didn't know what
Yeah,
I was getting myself into. But she was my mom, and we vowed we were going to take care of her. That was our responsibility. So that's what she took care of us.
absolutely, absolutely. And so ultimately, what happened?
Pretty much what's happened, we had to trick her to, obviously, like the trailer said, we had to trick her to move her from Darlington here to Maryland. Got her in a car and just told her we was going to eat because she loved to eat. So that was the trick, and we just kept moving north.
Yeah.
And after that, she constantly said she wanted to go home. She tried to escape numerous of times. She
Oh
almost,
man.
yes, to the point one time my children, I had left to go to the store. My children was watching her. They thought she was in her room. She was headed. I found her walking down the street towards Annapolis Road in Landover, Maryland. Luckily, I was able to do a detour, and I saw her walking, and I was like, "Where are you going?" "I'm going home to South Carolina." Okay, that was what she did. Get in the car, and I was furious when I got back to the house. Yeah, so that was just one of the times that she tried to, escape back to Darlington, and we were just blessed to be able to find her.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. That could have really gone another way. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, yeah. So, as far as your support system, they were helpful, and you didn't have to go at this alone.
No, yes, I'm grateful. I was struggling with my brother at one time because I didn't understand. He struggled with it, and I finally realized that because I felt that he should done more. But
Yeah,
then it dawned on me that what he was doing was what he could do. So he was very helpful, and my children were there. They took care of grandma and took care of her when I had to go run. But we realized we could never leave her by herself anymore.
right.
So somebody had to be there. And at the time, I had never heard of Alzheimer's until I moved her here. So I didn't know anything about the Alzheimer's Association and them until later on. So I was
Yeah.
pretty much doing this on my own. I was winging it, put it pretty much.
Yeah, this project really spoke to me because my family went through this as well with my grandmother,
Okay.
and a lot of things that you're saying mirrored what we went through. My parents were the primary caregivers, but just like you're saying, we couldn't leave her alone, and everybody just picked up and just did their part as
Correct.
best as possible. And yeah, so this really really spoke to me. So as far as you writing, the play is based on a book. Uh,
Yes, yes.
go
Go ahead.
ahead. Mhm.
Yeah, the play is based on my book, Laughing to Keep from Crying. This Alzheimer's thing is no joke. And a good friend of mine read the book and she approached me about writing the play. So that's her name, Elaine Hutchison. Awesome. She did a fantastic job on the play. I obviously helped with some details and all, but yeah, she wrote the play and we were able to get it performed. And like I'd always told her, my desire is to get as many people out here to learn about this disease, see the play, so we can find some type of cure for this dreadful disease, because it's moving fast, especially in the Black community.
Yes, yes, and it really is. So when you were going through this, what type of coping mechanisms, aside from the family, supporting their loved one, their family member, what else? What else did you do to help? Um, just support emotionally what these changes brought.
Well, beyond be very honest, since I did not understand the disease, and like I said, I was winging on my own, a prayer. God is
Yeah,
good. That's all I can say.
yeah,
He was my director, and that's I have to say that to anybody. Now it's so much more out here to give people support, like support groups and so on and so forth. Um, at times, like I said, we would go visit South Carolina. I would leave her with my cousins and all. So my children and I would take a trip to Myrtle Beach, which was like an hour and 15 minutes away, and just take a mental break from her. Because I had to, those are kinds of things I had to do. Try to find some kind of way to just get away and just calm myself. One time, my children, for my birthday, they sent me on a trip to New York with two of my girlfriends, and they took care of her for a week. God bless their soul. But it was good. So those are kinds of things that helped me to refocus once I got back in dealing with her. Try to
yeah,
find some kind of way, just like I said, a lot of prayer. Try to find a quiet moment when she sleep. Just get some type of downtime at that time to do whatever I need to do to just to regroup, so I can be prepared for whatever's going to come next. Because you never know what the person's going to do next.
yeah, yeah. So how did you get to the point that you decided to write this book? Because I mean, because it's so personal and sharing a personal story like this.
Yes, I didn't want to write the book, and like I said, I I always go back to God because He constantly was. I kept hearing in my spirit, write this book, write this book. So I had throughout the journey, I had written down a lot of notes that I had throughout the house, and I constantly kept hearing, gather your notes. So eventually, I listened. It took me 9 years to write the book. So once I started finding all my notes and just put it down to paper, I just kept going until it was done. And I realized it's been a blessing to so many people who have approached me about it and basically said, I use this as a guide to whenever she does this, I go to your book because I know
Wow.
what to do now. So it's and also in the book, I not only tell my story, I also give lessons that I learned throughout that journey so it can help somebody else. And also there are resources in the book as well.
Yeah, yeah. That is good. How did it affect you seeing this on the stage?
It was emotional because it brought back a lot of memories
Yeah,
about what
yeah.
happened throughout those times. Some of them are very touching. She was a comedian as well. Don't get me wrong. She was not always combative. She had her,
Mhm.
she was funny at times and she had us laughing. So those kinds of emotions and all these things kept, brought back. And even sometimes I still, even at the trail, it kind of get a little choked up because I realized, people are going through the same thing I went through. So we want them to be able to get the support and the help that they need. And I'm praying, like I said, with the book and also the play, and that's also on DVD, that they can get this support.
Yeah, yeah. And I can imagine that even now seeing the trailer will bring back, different things and different emotions.
Yeah.
Um and so how did the family feel about your family feel about the play and depicting this on stage?
They were very, very supportive. Matter of fact, two of my cousins came from South Carolina to see the play
Wow.
because I found out later on as my mother was going through that one of my uncles had the disease, but I didn't know what it was at the time. Nobody never talked about it. So, the word kept coming out, see now, that was the word for Alzheimer's at the
Yeah.
time. So, so
Yeah.
that I didn't know what was wrong with him. So one of his sons actually came to the last play and saw it, and another cousin, her father, developed it later on too, my mother's brother. So there's two brothers. So it's in our family, unfortunately. So I'm
Hmm.
praying that I won't get it. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it was very well taken with the family. They were glad, that we that was able to bring it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really, really good. Um, and like you said, people have looked at this and really changed the way that we discuss it and talk about it. And
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. And so definitely some people talking about the play and the book. Both are excellent. So and,
Yes.
yeah, and someone else play was excellent. It was real. That is true. That is
Yes.
true.
And our desire, even especially we had to play twice last year. And the first play we actually had a panel at the end,
Hmm.
so people can ask questions, and that was what we wanted. So because there were a lot of people in the audience who were going through that, and they needed answers, struggling with this thing. It like it's up and down. You don't know what that person's going to do from one second really to the other.
Yeah.
So it's very, like I said, it's very important that caregivers get the support that they need. Go to support groups. I'm still involved with two of support groups. First Baptist Church of Glenard and Picket Fences. I tend those to even to talk to the caregivers there because they need this.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. So, you still need to talk to people about this, and
Absolutely.
still this is an ongoing thing. So I don't want people to feel like there's some kind of a clock where it stops, or you stop feeling. Yeah, definitely. So it is important. How can people uh, get the DVD and download it or the book or anything?
Yes, they can go to my website, which is www.rosalynfmorgan.com. And the information is right there on my website where they can get the book, the DVD, and the information that they need. I talk a lot about, the things that I went through, and it's easy to get to. Just click on there and you can get it right there. You can stream it as well.
Yeah, so that is good. Um, so you were able to put on the production before COVID hit,
Yes.
and I think that is really good. I'm glad that you weren't in the middle of the production when this happened.
Yes, I'm so grateful that we're because we do want to do it again. My desire is to take it out of Maryland and take it to other places because I really think it's a powerful play that many really need to see.
Yes, yes. And so how speaking of the pandemic, how have you and your family been dealing with um, this COVID-19?
Staying home, staying safe. I do a lot, like you do a lot of Zoom and those kind of meetings online. If I go out, I have my mask and I am well protected.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
family
So
is too. We're following the guidelines. We're following the science.
yeah, absolutely, and that's what you have to do. And I'm glad that you're doing that. I'm glad that you said that you're wearing a mask, as I do as well. And I definitely want people, like you said, to follow the science. Uh,
Yes.
and so, what about your church services? Have you been attending, or are you watching online? What you doing?
I watch it online every
Hmm.
Sunday.
Hmm.
Yes,
Hmm.
I do. Yes.
Very
Remember,
good.
Metropolitan Baptist Church. Yes, I am right there online.
Very good, very good. So, again, if you're just tuning in, I'm talking to author Rosalyn F. Morgan about her play and her book, and just coping with some very serious topics. But you also have other books, and this is not while this is the main thing we're talking about. You have other books as well, so you have been busy.
Yes, I wrote a book about children and finances because that's another thing that really tugged at my heart because there's so many people, adults like us, who don't know anything about finances at all. You know, when they
Hmm.
get adults like we are, they mess up their money. If you teach
Hmm.
a child, my goal is to teach a child when they're young about how to handle their money, they will not make the mistakes that we've made.
Yeah.
I have a lot of real life situations in the book. My children are primary ones in the book. My godson are things that they went through, and while teaching them, you know, how to handle their money, and they're doing fine. For example, I use my godson a lot because I'll never forget one time he was adamant that he needed some Michael Jordans. I asked him, I said, "Well, who's going to pay for it?" He said, "Well, my mother." I said, "Well, why is she paying for it? Where's your money?" "I don't have any money." I said, "Why are you giving Michael Jordan money and you don't even have any money to go to school?" He said he got money. What you paying for? You
Right.
know, what are you buying those? So, you know, but the good part of it, he graduated, he's in college now. He got the message. He has a bank
Hmm.
account, he saves his money. He told me last year, he said, "I haven't bought a pair of Michael Jordan since our conversation." I was like, "Good for you."
Yeah. So
You
that
I
that
mean,
that's good.
it's okay. I'm not. Don't get me wrong. It's nothing wrong with Michael Jordan. Make sure,
No,
but
no,
you have
no, no. I get
money.
it.
Yeah, make sure you can afford them and you have some money on the side. You know, you can
Yeah, I
pay for
mean,
your school.
priorities are very important. Like you said,
Yeah,
uh, uh,
absolutely.
Jordan has a whole lot of money. Nike has a whole lot of money,
Yeah.
and
And you
yeah,
barely have a
priorities.
dime. I'm
Hmm.
like, put your
Hmm.
priorities in order, and he does. He pays for his school, and he's doing well. My children are the same way. They know how to handle their money. We all going to make mistakes. I mean,
Sure.
that's life. But you know, but learn from them. If you teach a child early, they you know they will not make the really horrible mistakes that, you know, I can prime example for me, mistakes that I've made throughout my life.
Yeah, yeah. As did I. Definitely, definitely. So again, people can go to your website
Yeah,
and they can get information about the play, whether they want a DVD or whether they want to download. The
absolutely.
book is there as well, and as well as your other book that we were talking about. And I really appreciate you coming on and talking with us. Are you active on social media?
Not as much as I should.
Yeah, yeah, especially at this time, you can definitely stay in touch with folks and make new friends, and
But
definitely increase, who you're talking to about. Um, just it's Alzheimer's is something that, like I said, I think that it's touching everybody at some point in time.
yes,
Uh,
it
yeah,
is. Yes. And I do have Facebook, Twitter, and also Instagram page. So I do go over on those. So people can follow me on those as well.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, again, I really appreciate you taking time to talk with me, and I definitely encourage people to check out the DVD or get the download and read the book, as the
Awesome. I
play is
thank
based
you.
on the book.
And I thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, very welcome. Anything else you want to say?
I tell you, everybody be safe. Don't go out there
Yes,
and get crazy.
definitely, definitely important.
Yes, and
Definitely,
check out my website. Yes, indeed.
absolutely.
And we have
Well, thanks
t-shirts
again.
on there as well.
Yes,
Okay.
I saw that. Yes, absolutely. All right, so have a good one.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy the rest of your
Thank
week.
thank you,
Okay.
thank you.
Take care. All right.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye bye. All right, so that was wonderful speaking with her. We're going to take a quick break, everybody. I'm going to come back with more of the program after this.